What's up guys, my name is Jack, you're watching JBTCG, and today we're going to talk about the unstoppable force that is Crown Zenith sealed product pricing. So I've got TCG Player pulled up here, and we're just going to look at some of the sealed product prices of the single cards, and we're going to estimate around how many packs have been opened for Crown Zenith and compare it to other sets like Evolving Skies, which we know is the other most popular set from the Sword and Shield era. So without a doubt, Crown Zenith is moving different. Both in the way the graphs actually look and the demand for these sealed products. So when you look at the TCG Player graph for Crown Zenith, we see that it just goes straight upwards. There's no lags, there's no plateaus, there's no dips. It just goes. And in the past year, we can see it went up 242%, which is crazy returns. A year ago, it says you could get it for $51 back in July. I'd argue you could get it even cheaper. I think I got Crown Zenith ETBs for in the 40s at this time. I got them in the 30s back earlier in the spring, but still, regardless, $50 to $175 for an ETB is crazy. And it's because the set list for Crown Zenith is frankly the best we've ever seen. I think you have to put it up there with Evolving Skies. I think it's better than Prismatic Evolutions. I think it's better than 151. I can't really think of another set that would top this one. But like the top chase cards, they're not that expensive just because the pull rates are pretty easy. For a gold card, it's around 1 in 125. There's 4 gold cards. So that means around 1 in 400 to 1 in 500 for a specific gold card. That's what we'd expect. And because of the heavy printing for Crown Zenith and the wonderful pull rates, we can see that the top chase cards are pretty cheap. Like the Giratina is $152 right now. It hit a high of $212 back in February. And this was back when all the hype was in the Sword and Shield era alt arts. You can see that if I pull up the Giratina V, the graph looks pretty similar. Its peak was around late February, early March. Same thing with a lot of these other top tier alt arts like the Lugia V as well. They all peaked and they've been falling ever since. So daily for the top chase card, the Giratina VSTAR, we see 10 to 15 items are selling per day, which isn't a crazy sell-through rate considering it's a top chase card and it's only $150. So I am a little surprised to see that it's that low, but I think demand will continue to stay with this card for years to come just because 1, Giratina, one of the most popular Pokemon of all time, and 2, this is I think the greatest Giratina artwork we've ever gotten. I think it's alongside the Giratina V. I could really go either way. They're both outstanding, but this one is super unique looking. All right, now enough glazing the Giratina V-Star. We'll take a look at the Mewtwo V-Star. This one peaked at a high of $127 in late February, early March, same as all the other alt arts, and then it dropped to a low in beginning of May of $89. Since then, it's actually bounced back and it is above 100. It's at 107 and it's trending upwards. So we're starting to see a little strength in these alt art cards. I think this card will continue to perform long term. 1, because it's connecting with the Charizard V-Star, and 2, because it's an outstanding card of Mewtwo. Like, it's so unique, the styling, the anime battle scene that it basically is. Everything about this card is super cool. And the last card we're going to cover before we get back to sealed products is the Leafeon V-Star. This one right now is a $43 card. It's kind of just been range bound in the $45 to $40 price range for the past 3 months. And this is honestly a card I think could double or triple in price over time because 1, it's an evolution and evolutions are everyone's favorite it seems like. And 2, the artwork is great. Like this is a outstanding Leafeon card. If you compare it to the Prismatic Evolutions Leafeon, which is like 5 times, 6 times as expensive, I think this one blows it out of the water. And I also think it was better than the Leafeon V, which was from Evolving Skies, but I will say that the Leafeon VMAX is my favorite Leafeon card, so this one is still a close second, and it's only $40. Regardless, this Leafeon and a lot of the other Galarian Gallery alt arts from this set have been holding strong while other alt arts kind of crash in price. So obviously we see the Giratina fell off a good bit in price, but lots of these other cards in the $25 to $50 price range have kind of been holding their values. And what that tells me is that even when Sword and Shield alt arts aren't being hyped up, there is still consistent demand for these cards. And because of this, when demand eventually flows back from the tag team alt arts and the black and white era cards and the Mega Evolution cards as well, eventually when it comes back to the Sword and Shield alt art cards, these cards will be the first ones to go because the demand is already there for them. So any influx of demand on top of that would cause these to surge upwards. Now, I don't really invest in single cards too much just because the volatility and sealed products just consistently do better, but I just figured it was something interesting to point out. I don't think this is the last opportunity anyone will have to get these Crown Zenith cards for a good price, but my point is, I don't think they're going to get that much cheaper over time. Now back to the sealed products, we'll look at the Crown Zenith Sea and Sky collection. Right now, this is $165. We can see that a year ago, well, it wasn't even around a year ago, it came out in September, but they were going on the secondary market for between $50 and $60. Then they sold out, I believe, in December, and from there it was off to the races. They just continued upwards and upwards. And people were saying that this was a bad buy or a bad investment back in September. Like, I will not let these people forget this. I got people on my videos saying, I don't think that's a good investment. They're too bulky and it's not worth it. Crown Zenith has been overprinted, so honestly, I wouldn't do that. And that was people responding to me buying them from Sam's Club for $40, which is 14 packs for $40, which is less than $3 a pack. And people still said that was probably a bad move. And that really just shows how time has completely changed and perspectives on the hobby have completely shifted to where Crown Zenith is seen as this amazing set that everyone wants to get a hold of. Back in September, these things sat on pallets at Sam's Club. And like, I have 30 of these. I have a bunch of these Sea and Sky collections. And nowadays people would be like, you scalped those, you went and bought out the whole store. No. For over a month, you could buy 25 Sea and Sky collections at a time, which would cost you $1,000. Right now it would cost you like $4,000 for that many Sea and Sky collections. But you could buy 25 at a time and they were nowhere close to selling out because people just didn't want them. But times have clearly changed and your odds of getting a Sea and Sky collection for a reasonable price at this point are 0. Next up, an interesting Crown Zenith product which actually went down in price for a period of time, which we're not used to for Crown Zenith, was the Crown Zenith Elite Trainer Box Plus. So this went from around $120 back in the fall to early winter to around $287 today. So a huge jump in price, obviously. Not quite as much as the ETB, which is surprising. The ETB actually outperformed this one. I think honestly it's because more people are ripping the ETBs, so supply is decreasing at a faster rate. No one's really opening the Pokemon Center version for this ETB because there's really no reason to. It costs way more and you don't really get anything inside that's unique compared to the regular ETB. Like, there's no stamped promo card back then. So it's just a different box with a couple like different damage markers and different sleeves inside. So interestingly enough, this one peaked at $305 back in March and then dropped down to a low of $253 and has since bounced back up to $287. I think this one will continue to move upwards with all the other Crown Zenith products, but I kind of think that the regular ETBs, booster bundles, Sea and Sky collections will continue to outperform this. And I think the demand for the other products is just higher because people love ripping Crown Zenith and no one's really ripping this product. And because so many people love ripping this set and because the population of these cards is increasing constantly because people are constantly ripping Crown Zenith, we're seeing these sealed products just continue upwards while the single cards kind of stagnate and hold at low prices. Now, although it seems like Crown Zenith is constantly getting opened and it's the most open set from the Sword and Shield era, that title goes to Evolving Skies. So when we look at the pop report for the Umbreon VMAX from this set, which is the top chase card, and the odds of pulling this are around 1 in 2,000. And that's because the odds of pulling an alt art in Evolving Skies are just so low. And pulling a specific VMAX alt art is just, it's basically impossible unless you are loaded rich. Either way, looking at PSA's pop report, 23,775 have been graded with PSA. That's almost as much as the Giratina VSTAR, and this card is 5 times more difficult to pull. So with an estimated pull rate of 2,000 packs per Umbreon VMAX and 23,775 graded, that gives us 47,500,000 packs of Evolving Skies have been opened. And for this, I didn't include any other grading companies and I didn't include raw cards, just what's graded with PSA. And this kind of leads me into a tangent that I've been wanting to talk about, but it's the idea of overprinting. A lot of people are saying they're going to print these sets to the ground, like they're going to make these dirt cheap, or the Pokemon market is going to crash, and then all this stuff is going to go back to below MSRP. I've seen a lot of people talk about this. I think PokeNE, I think he mentioned that like the next upcoming sets, he predicts that they'll be worth like 120 bucks or something like that. I don't think this is going to happen. Now, I do think we're going to get cheaper boxes, and I do think the Pokemon market is going to kind of go into a downturn because after a huge hype upwards, it has to come and settle back down somewhere. Now, I don't think this will happen in the next 6 months because we're getting Mega Evolution cards back and they're going to get alt arts or special illustration rares for the first time ever. And then on top of this, we're getting Legend ZA, so a lot of people are going to be playing the games and then want to rip their favorite Pokemon in those packs. So I don't think the Pokemon market is going to subside in the next 6 to 7 months. After this, who knows? But either way, even if the Pokemon company continues to print prismatic evolutions, they continue to issue reprints for the set, these cards are being opened so frequently, and it's more frequently than ever. Like, people believe that modern sealed products won't get rare because everyone is hoarding them, but in reality, very few people are hoarding these sealed products, and so many people are opening them. Like in my last video, I did some math with the Umbreon EX from Prismatic Evolutions. That card already has 5,200 graded with PSA, and it's been, what, 6 months since Prismatic Evolutions got released? Even through reprint after reprint, these cards and these packs are being opened constantly. Evolving Skies had a bunch of reprints for it, and that's why we see 47 million packs have been opened. It's because a lot of packs are out there. Like, the Pokemon company turned up the printers for Evolving Skies. But guess what? The demand was still there because it's Evolving Skies. It has the coveted chase card. Everyone wants the experience of pulling the Umbreon VMAX. The same thing is true for Crown Zenith. Everyone wants an enjoyable set that they can pull some really cool cards without breaking the bank. And that's why it continues to go up in price. Prismatic Evolutions, it's well above MSRP, and that's because everyone wants it. Everyone wants to rip it. Everyone wants to chase the Prismatic Evolution alt arts. I simply just don't see a world where sets like Destined Rivals or Prismatic Evolutions are below MSRP. Now, they could be. They very well could be. 2 years down the line, the Pokemon company could be issuing reprints every 6 months for these sets and just printing them into the ground. But I don't think that'll happen. But I want to say I don't think it's impossible. Like, it could happen. I just think the odds for it are very low. And if I come back to this video in like a year or 2 years and I'm like, well, I was wrong, then so be it. But with the rate of people opening packs and how good these modern set lists and chase cards are, I just don't see a world where that happens. Now, I do want to give one final tip as a thank you for everyone who's stuck through this far in the video, and that is to go and check all of the TikTok live streams or whatnot live streams and see what packs they're ripping. And I don't mean right after a set releases. I mean 4 weeks after a set releases, when we're kind of in a dead period between, right now, between Destined Rivals, between Black Bolt and White Flare. What packs are people ripping? This is something I've done in the past to gauge the general community's demand. And from there, I kind of base some of my investing moves. If there's a set that people just seem to love to open year round, like in between set releases, during set releases, and it just doesn't matter what time of the year it is, that's probably a great set to invest in. And that's why I put most of my money into Crown Zenith and 151. It's because everyone's opening them all the time. Anyways, lots of rambling. That's all I got for today. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and stay safe out there.